All right, everybody, hello and welcome to another new episode of the Cardback Cafe Fresh Brew with me, Frank.
And me, Jeff.
That is right. We are back at it again here. Another week in paradise talking about all the latest news from the world of toys and adult collectibles and all that good stuff. And doing it with one of my best friends in the world here. And couldn't be happier to be back. Jeff, how the heck are you?
I'm good, my man. And yeah, as you said, always good to be sitting down here with you. This is the one of the highlights of the week, talking toys with a good friend. But yeah, I've been good. Kind of one of those busy weeks. Jess has been a little bit under the weather with the cold, so it's kind of thrown the schedule off. She's been home a couple days, remote a couple more days. It's just been kind of a crazy schedule around here, but yeah, not too much to report other than just a long work week, and so happy to be here Friday finally talking toys. But how about you?
Yeah, I mean, it's about the same old. It's another I'm on this with my work. I tend to go away for long stints of time. I tend to be home for a few weeks at a time, so I've been a bit of a homebody for the last few weeks, so it's given me a chance to, catch up on some TV, some movies, some video games. Now, again, still have the building work going on, still have a few weeks of that left, so still stuck, buried amongst all these boxes, and more boxes get added seemingly every day. So, it's getting a bit claustrophobic in here, but enjoying it, and like you said, I mean, Friday... again, behind the velvet curtain here, we're recording these things on Fridays. They sort of go up on Saturdays, but Fridays, it's a great time to do it because it's the start of the weekend, and what better way to kick off the weekend than, again, talking toys, having a casual little drink, and just enjoying my time. So it's been a good week, and I'm ready to kick things off here on the weekend with the Cardback Cafe Fresh Brew.
Yeah. I hope you're ready, because there's a lot this week.
There is a lot of, there's I would dare say, too much news this week. But before we get into the news, let's go ahead. We'll do the thing we always do. We got to remind people, because it's this whole to-do about social media. If we don't tell them where they could find us, then we're not getting the word out there. People don't know where to find. I mean, they're watching it, so I assume they know where to find us already. But this is a just-in-case situation.
Yeah.
So here we go, guys. You know already if you're watching this, hopefully. But if you don't, Instagram, follow us, The Cardback Cafe, where we are posting pictures of our figs, and obviously we're advertising for the show there from time to time, but we post our new finds, our new gets, our pickups, our purchases, our pre-orders sometimes. And it's just like a catch-all, basically. So, here in the show, we talk about some of the things we get and show them off, but we don't get to talk about them all. And here on the Instagram, we get to show off a bit more, I think.
Yeah, exactly. It's our the full breadth of the cafe, if you will.
Exactly. Yeah, that's it. Because, you come into the Cardback Cafe for a fresh brew. You're in the window seat. You're sat there. You're sipping it down. You're loving life. Oh, look, there's a dog going by. There's the sun. Oh, look, that guy's got a cool car. But sometimes you got to look at the rest of the walls in the cafe. There's stuff all over the place.
Yeah, you got to come back. You got to become a regular. And that's what this is for.
That's it. That is the Instagram. And of course, if you're watching this, I'm going to assume you're doing that on YouTube. And if you're doing that, you're on our YouTube channel, which is Kaiju Creative. So Kaiju Creative presents Cardback Cafe Fresh Brew. It's a bit of a mouthful, but that's what it is. And if you are watching us on YouTube, which I think is the only place you are going to be watching us, do that nice
Hopefully.
thing. Hit this subscribe button here. There it is. I'm already subscribed, as you can see. It'd be strange if I wasn't. But yeah, subscribe, like, bell notifications. It all helps with the engagement, and every little bit helps in helping the channel grow and get seen by more people. If you've watched the show, if you've listened to us before, tell other people about the show, and maybe this thing can become something. I don't know where I'm going with this, Jeff. I don't know where we want this to go, but
tell your friends, tell your family. Reach out to Todd McFarlane. Tell him about it, too. Say, hey, go and talk to these guys because
I think Todd, we're coming for you, Todd. Not in a bad way.
Yeah.
We just want to have a chat. That's all.
in a good way. Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. That's how you can follow us. But look, it's as Jeff sort of alluded to, it is a busy, busy week here. So let's get right into things here with the news of the week. And we'll start it off a bit different this week because we've talked about it in the past here that it is Comic-Con season. It is upon us. Yeah. I mean, we're not too far off now. About a month and a half. Preview night is July 24th, and when this goes up, it will be June 15th. So yeah, a month and 10 days, we'll call it. And luckily, lovely Preternia over on Twitter. If you want to call it X, you can call it X, but we don't call it X here. We still call it Twitter. Obviously, one of the best there is, keeps us all in line, gives us all the news. He's always there with the late-breaking info and has put together a nice checklist to keep us all in the loop on what SDCC exclusives there are. So we're not going to go deep into detail about these, but let's just catch up with some of the stuff that's there. So again, SDCC preview night, July 24th, and then the show is the 25th, 26th, 27th, and 28th. But let's see what some of the offers are going to be here. So Bandai Tamashii Nations, we're going to do some exclusive Dragon Ball figures from the looks of it. A Dragon Ball Z Goku, looks like with a little Gohan there, which is great. A Dragon Ball Super Trunks, a Dragon Ball Super Jiren in special colored versions, shiny colored versions. We've got some Naruto. We've got an S.A. Monster Arts Godzilla, which I'm very excited about. These Bandai Tamashii Nation stuff, the info hasn't actually been dropped about them yet, but that Godzilla is what's interesting me because he's got, from the looks of it, like some nice blue spines going on him. So yeah, I shall keep my ear to the ground about that. Jada toys, obviously we've been talking about Jada the last few weeks here, but a couple of Street Fighter exclusives, including Street Fighter 2 Violent Ken, which you can pre-order July 25th at Jada Next Level. Street Fighter 2 Chun-Li, the Player 2 Ping. I love these, if there was ever a line that it would make use of, what am I trying to say here, Jeff?
Make use of reuse.
Make use of reuse. If there was ever a line that would make use of reuse quite as well, it's got to be like a fighting game like Street Fighter where there are the different color variants, and some people even sort of align to those more. Like some people like the Player 2, the Player 3, the Player 4 versions of these characters more than the sort of standard ones.
Yeah, exactly. And it is cool. And what's really cool about it is that they're still making new figures, new sculpts on top of, still releasing these. So that's very awesome to see. Jada Toys, I don't know what their secret is right now, but keep up the great work, guys.
They're cooking with gas. And like we said, if they're going to do these variants, these other versions of the characters, there are other versions that make sense. They don't feel like cheap cash-ins. Like they have a place being there with the standard versions.
Yeah. Yep.
And they're bringing back the Chester Cheetah, the Cheetos Chester Cheetah with a flaming hot glow-in-the-dark edition as well, which I believe you can actually already pre-order from Entertainment Earth, which is quite nice of them. Yeah. Yep. Really interested to see, because they said there's been an interview recently where they've said maybe they're done with the cereal mascots, but they're not done with the food mascots. So it'll be interesting to see where they go next, because... again, Jada just doing really well with the licenses they have and exploring a lot of things that I think a lot of collectors didn't know they wanted.
Yeah, exactly. And now we have them, and it seems like they're just going deep with all this stuff. So
then we've got Monogram International. I'm going to be honest with you, don't know much about it, but it looks like we've got an Assassin's Creed Shadows foam bag clip 3-pack, a Sid and Marty Croft lanyard and pin set. Oh, here we go. A Sonic, Tangle, and Whisper 3D foam bag clip 3-pack. These are mouthfuls. Yeah. And a South Park lanyard and pin set. But then we're going to the big boys here. We got NECA.
There we go.
We're going to be opening up pre-orders on the NECA store for the non-attendees. And we talked a bit about this last week when we talked about the Feral Predator. But here we go. there's going to be NECA store non-attendees or people that want them shipped to their houses on June 26th, June 27th, and June 28th. So not too long from now. Some of these will be up for pre-order, limited to a certain amount per day. But we've got that ultimate camo feral predator, which we talked about previously. The deluxe Flash Gordon Wood Beast, which came up on a previous show as well. A glow-in-the-dark Count Orlok from Nosferatu, which is very cool. Like, I was tempted by the normal Count Orlok, I would say. Even though I've never watched Nosferatu. I've seen clips, I've made fun of it on other podcasts. Yeah. But there's something about that look. And there's a new Nosferatu movie coming out, which I'm very interested in seeing when it actually finally sees the light of day.
Yeah, and there you go. And once you see that movie, then, you know, that could make all the difference in wanting this figure. Be happy that you own this figure. But
exactly.
Yeah, I'm the same. I've never watched the classic Nosferatu. The closest I've come is that Are You Afraid of the Dark episode where the vampire was based on that, and that was creepy as hell. So yeah, but I'm digging this glow in the dark direction that companies are going in, especially when it's kind of pulled off like what we see here.
Glow in the dark has made a big resurgence in the last like sort of year, 2 or 3, hasn't it? Like, never thought I'd see so many glow in the dark toys as a nearly 40-year-old.
All right, I know. We'll all be interested going into our closets and looking at them, holding them by the window. And,
and then recently as well, they also just revealed Super Elf. So again, the prices on these TBD, but they will be up for pre-order, like we said, soon. And Super 7 also in the game with the TMNT Ultimates Chef Michelangelo, which it's you do you, Super 7. Yeah. A Thundercats Ghost Groon, which I don't even know if I'm saying that name right. I think it would be. Right. Dungeons and Dragons Invisible, even Sheila and the Thief, and a G.I. Joe Jungle Trap Zartan. So for the Ultimates line, and those are the big ones that have been announced so far. No sort of pre-order dates at that. Those Super 7 ones, I'm guessing, are probably going to only be at the show. I don't see those going up on Super 7's website anytime soon, but we shall see. Like we said, go to Preternia.com to keep up to date with that. He's always updating the checklist here. We'll have all the latest info on where you can get them if you're not at the show, or where you can get them when you are at the show if you're lucky enough to attend. And as we get closer, there'll be more and more revealed. So, what's next, Jeff? Let's take a look. It is looking like we talked about, just before we recorded last week, the HasLab Cantina went up. And so it's been about a week. Let's just have a quick check-in. We gave you all the info last week, but let's see where we are backer count-wise. So, with 24 days, 7 hours, 15 minutes left, we are at 4,735 backers with a target of 8,000. We are over the halfway point. Yeah. How do we think this is doing?
Not as good as I would have expected. Because when it first went up, it really jumped, had really good numbers, as always expected when these things go up, that first excitement. I'm sure as it gets closer to the deadline, we'll also see a spike in those last minute trying to come in. But I mean, based on the things that they've sold in the past, it seems like they've normally hit their mark within this time frame by now. Which I don't think 8,000 is too out of the realm or ambitious. But last week I did think that they could likely top out at that 17,000 backers, 14,000 range. But now, it's looking like they may just come in at that mark, maybe a little bit over. It's telling. It's really hard to gauge it right now. I just know compared to things in the past, it's not happening as fast as I'm sure they would have liked it to.
Yeah, it looks like it is, and seeing a lot of sort of toy YouTubers, toy content creators talking about it, it does seem like it doesn't have that ascension like a lot of the bigger things have had. I think last week when we talked about it, it was so new that seeing that number, I think it was maybe like 1,500 when we talked about it, and it was only like 30 or 40 minutes in.
Yeah, right.
It seemed like quite a lot, but then it's sort of slowing right down. I think the consensus seems to be that it'll probably hit the 8,000, but hitting the stretch goals seems like a bit of a stretch.
Right.
Again, we didn't have a lot of time to process the pictures or the info last week before recording, but the more I've sort of looked at it and the more I've read about other people's reactions, is there does seem to be a bit of people aren't liking the fact that there's no floor, there's no you can see the plastic from the top, people aren't. For me, when I first saw those images, I thought it was quite cool, the modularity of it, but I don't know, it seems like the community at large maybe not it's not hitting the same chord with them, so I think it passes at the end of this at the end of the campaign, but I don't think it's the slam dunk that when we talked about it last week it seemed like it might have been.
Yeah, and you have to look into the price point now. The price is higher. We've seen things like the Hiss tank in the past that fits it nicely with the classified line. Came at a great time for that line to really be successful. This is kind of in that 3.75 scale, so you also have to ask, are there a lot of collectors in that realm? We talked about it last week, how, could this be trying to move collectors more to that line, or could it just be, that's what works right now for this kind of scaling of a diorama? Makes the most sense to do it for the 3.75 versus a Black Series line 6-inch scale. So, yeah, you have to take that price point into consideration too, and it is a hefty price. I mean, it really does make you think, no matter what tier you go in on, and so I think that's kind of holding people back. But I do think it's going to hit its goal, and I think that especially within the last 5 days, you'll see a lot more people piling on and getting behind it. So
they always do have that end of the campaign boost as well. Yeah, like you say.
Exactly.
Now the thing is, this might be not performing quite as well as the Hasbro people might have liked, but perhaps the next one that has been teased might do better. But I never know. But here we go.
It's a tease. Yeah. Here we go.
Come along for the ride, fall 2024.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we're all under the same consensus here. We know that this has to be a sort of 6-inch plasma series scale Ecto-1, because they did just come out with that sort of O-ring scale Ecto-1. That's already hit. So why, what else could this be? I mean, come along for the ride. We've got the tail fin, it's the wheel, it's an Ecto-1. So the heart is aflutter with the size, the price, the details. What's it going to be? What are stretch goals going to be? Is it going to be able to be the Ecto-1 from the first movie, the second movie, real Ghostbusters? Could this fit in scale with the Mondo real Ghostbusters?
Do we get other figures on top of it? Janine.
For a line that basically we all thought was dead, right?
This has been such a weird, strange kind of a burn of a line. Yeah, and you said it, just when you think it's dead, it kind of, there's a little breath of life pumped back into it. It's just never hit its stride as far as that. Yeah. It's never found that momentum, and yet the things they come out with, I've enjoyed. I mean, I've gone all in on the real Ghostbusters stuff. I bought a lot of even the Plasma Series stuff, and I've enjoyed it because
the retro re-releases have been great.
Exactly. And so this is just par for the course of how this line has kind of burned. Slow and consistent, but I mean, it's got to be a Plasma Series Ecto-1. And so
the only thing because the thing is, when Ghostbusters does HasLabs, right, they've always done the prop replicas. Like they've done the Neutrano one, the backpack. I'm not expecting there to be a 1-to-1 scale Ecto-1.
It's going to be a real car. You can buy.
I guess the first level is 150,000. But could it be something odd like a really well done like RC car or something? You know, I want it to be something that I want it to be a figure based thing, and I think that's what it will be at the end. But
yeah,
Ghostbusters.
You're thinking, can it be like the new what they use for a new trap on that little RC thing when they drive it out of the car in the newer movie?
Maybe. I mean, like, there's a chance of that. Or I'm even just thinking, like, an RC Ecto-1. Like, because, you know, everyone's thinking, right, it's going to be a 6-inch scale Ecto-1, which would be quite big, maybe fit some figures in it, have a gunner seat, you know, or be able to... You know, I've heard people saying, like, you know, the stretch goals could be conversion kits so you can get it from each movie. All sound like great ideas, but if the plasma series is dead, or at least on a lifeline, which it does seem like nothing's come out for the new movie of the plasma series, right?
No,
it was all just
it
was all just the kids
retro
focused figs and stuff like that. So if they're just going to leave that line, miss, you know, Frozen Empire, to then come back to it for a HasLab, even if it's referring to the old, it seems, I'm sure we'll, you know, the answers will come in the fall. Yeah. But
I'm thinking
I'm
too,
interested.
It is the 40-year anniversary, so that could be, this
could
be the final just nightcap on the whole Plasma series line. Maybe say, you know, because listen, we all said it when they first came out with the Plasma series. Where's the Ecto-1? Where's the Ecto-1? Where's that original 84 Ecto-1? And they gave us the Afterlife one, which I still don't think, if I remember correctly, still wasn't in scale with the 6-inch figures.
No.
Yeah, so maybe this is just their final piece. Say, here you go, and now we're out for a while. Who knows? It's Hasbro, and you don't know what they're thinking, because it's like, we need to cut costs here, we need to lay off employees, we need to get rid of this line, push this over here. So I don't know. It'll be
interesting, because the announcement's going to come in fall. That is going to be after we hopefully see stuff from Mondo at Comic-Con for the real Ghostbusters line. And you know, if it's a similar scale, there are differences between the film Ecto-1s and the real Ghostbusters Ecto-1, but as a placeholder, if it's the right price, you know, because I don't imagine a Mondo Ecto-1 coming anytime soon or being affordable.
Right.
So depending on the price of a 1/6 or 1/12 scale Ecto-1 from Hasbro, could do the trick, and especially if it has conversion kits to be more in line with the cartoon or something. So we will keep our ears to the ground and talk about it as and when that info comes. But let's move on to something we've been talking about. There's been leaks, there's been blurry pictures, and then we finally, pretty much right after we recorded the last episode, the official pictures came out. So it's a bit of old news, but new to us. And that is the official pictures of the Playmates re-release. I can speak, I promise. A re-release of the Technodrome from the original TMNT, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles series. And there's a lot to unpack here. Yeah. And other people have spent the last week unpacking it. We don't have to say too much about it, Jeff, but what are your initial thoughts seeing these images?
I like it. It looks like fun. It looks like a set I would like to own. Maybe not at the $80 price point, but I think it looks pretty true. Yeah, I've heard some people critique it, say, you know, is it the same size as that original scale, you know, as the original one? Maybe it's a little bit smaller, lacking in detail, which we've come to kind of expect with these Playmates re-releases. I mean, Bebop had black sneakers on the re-release, and
you can even see him in this picture, like his wrist braces aren't painted.
They're doubling down with Bebop. But yeah, you know, I think for what it is, it's very cool. You know, we talked about it. It's one of those Grail items, you know, the original one, especially for TMNT collectors, which we both are. I think that's primarily why we're doing this today. You know, we owe a lot to Ninja Turtles and that line. I think it's cool. I just think for me right now, I'm just going to kind of sit back and watch how this plays out, see some reviews. I know a lot of their stuff, and not that I'm banking on it, but a lot of their stuff does tend to go down in sale. I've seen the Turtle Van do it, seen the Blimp do it. So yeah, catch me on the right day. Hell, catch me after this, another cocktail or two, and I'm like, you know what, $80, not that bad. So who knows? But that's a long-winded way of me saying I like it.
It does. I think, it wasn't until when I first saw the pictures, like, it was not quite a jaw drop moment, but I was surprised with how much it looked like the original, like the stickers, like you said, all the stuff that from the figure re-releases felt like was lacking, the paint and bits like that. This didn't seem it when I first saw the images, but then when somebody showed the comparative images to the original, and I was like, it does seem smaller, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter because... And at the same time, it also is fine for the people that own the original, because, like, right, you've got the original, you've got it. It's its own thing. This is its own thing, but I think, yeah, for the price point, I would be quite happy picking this up. I'm looking forward to getting a chance to do that because, it's going to be fresh. It's going to be nice. It's going to be crisp. There's not going to be scuffs. There's not going to be peeling stickers. And it'll fit in with, your retro figures, like the actual vintage figures, as well as if you get any of those retro re-releases. Personally, for me, I've got a lot of the vintage figures. What I don't have is a vintage Technodrome. Maybe one day I would like to get one, but, the price is going to keep creeping up and up, and pretty much, am I going to be able to drop the cash on a fully complete one that's mint in box? I mean, I looked up the mint in box ones on eBay after the images of this dropped, and I can tell you the answer is no. I will not be able to afford that anytime soon. I could probably get a used Technodrome that's missing a few parts and has stickers that look like they've been ripped off, but if my choice is between $300 for something like that or $80 for this, and it does the trick, like, I don't want to resell it, I wouldn't buy a vintage Technodrome to resell it. I'd buy a vintage Technodrome to display, and, I know a lot of people out there will be like, oh, maybe one day you would resell it, though, and this thing won't have the value. That's a problem for Frank from 10 to 15 years from now. Like, if I get this now, it's gonna be a nice centerpiece to all the vintage figures I have. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to this, and I think it really does the trick.
Cool.
And that wasn't the only Ninja Turtles either this week. This is we're dipping our toe outside, our 2 toes, 4 toes because 2 feet, outside the toys for just a second, because they did drop a trailer finally for Tales of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So, we can't really play the sound or whatever, but Jeff, did you have a chance to watch this trailer?
Oh, of course. Come on. It's such a great continuation of where we left off. It's doing kind of a real Ghostbusters thing, which I really appreciate about it. The animation stays true to what the movie is. And hey, last week when I put our flag in the dirt and said this is the best film ever made in the Turtles franchise, no one disagreed. No one spoke up and disagreed. So it must be true, right? So
I think it's true.
So, is this going to be the best Turtles cartoon we've ever seen? Remains to be seen, but I'm excited.
Yeah, I was, there'd been little teasers here and there dropped, but actually to get our first proper full look on it was really exciting. Again, seeing how well they've translated the CG, and obviously the CG had a really unique style in the film, to 2D animation. Obviously, we've got all the voice actors from the movie. It really goes a long way in helping it feel like this has never been done in Turtles, right? We've had multiple animated series and multiple movies, and you could pick and choose what you liked. There's never been a movie that led into a series, which led back into another movie. Like, this is actually a very exciting concept and something new for us Turtles fans. So I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a 12-episode streaming event coming August 9th to Paramount Plus, and that's it. Just can't wait. Looking forward to the toys. We talked about the toys last week. That was a bit of the trailer. Go watch it online so you can get the sound and take it all in. And I guess we're not getting paid, but get Paramount Plus if you don't have it already, so you can watch it, or wait until it's available elsewhere.
That's right.
But there's no time. Too much toys. We gotta leave the turtles, and we gotta go to Todd Father. We should give him his own segment. Until he's on the show, he should get his own segment. Todd's Corner.
Todd's
and what do we've got from Todd this week? So, quite a lot, actually. Let's start it off with... What are we going to start off with? Let's start it off with a Teen Titans Connor Kent figure. So, we should say, I guess, he announced... Well, this is sort of 3 figures that were announced this past week. So, it was Connor Kent, Batman Manga, and Sergeant Rock. Were these gold label exclusives? Was there a mix and match here? What was the story, Jeff?
I mean, as far as I know, they're for the collector's edition series.
The collector's edition. See, and this is why I get confused with McFarlane. So there's gold label, there's collectors, there's...
I was excited to see some of these figures. I mean, that right there, when I think of Superboy, that's what I think of. I know it's not the original look, but I love it. And I'm going to bury the lead and say I pre-ordered this. I like them. Some say, I've seen people say, hey, that's just the reuse of Todd's body for his figure. And I'm going to go, probably, but it works. I think it works.
He's got the flight stand, and
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't actually. So this is my first time actually seeing all the images. I did not see this image.
Yeah, it's because he's Lex's and Superman's creations, so it is a cool little nod there that he's doing. You get the little head look. And to bear the other lead, I pre-ordered the Bat manga as well. I absolutely love that Batman look. It's like a cool take on the 66 version, right? It's got the classic look.
So this this is the variant. So he's got the L carved in with the bald head.
Okay, so there is a variant. So Todd found a way.
So it's a collector's edition, but it's not another version of the collector's edition. Okay. Right. So then there we go. Some more pics. Here we go. Bat manga coming in.
And then Batman. Based on what I believe like a 2008 comic tie-in. Just a cool looking Batman. And what can you do? I would have liked to see him try his hand with a soft goods cape on this one. I think it could have been cool considering it is a collector's edition.
Yeah.
But for what it is, I think it looks good.
It looks like an actual rope, which is quite nice.
Yeah.
Like some rope with some heft to it.
Yeah, and again, it's kind of like having a highly articulated or a more articulated 66 Batman version, which I like. So this could potentially take the top spot for me for my favorite McFarlane Batman. So,
you could probably, obviously the 66s are in a different scale, but I wonder how like a head swap and a repaint could work, because
that would be interesting.
On those 66s, do they have as many points of articulation, or are they a bit less articulated than the 7 inches?
They're less, single elbows, single knees, kind of that straightforward. I don't even know what kind of hip joints you would call those, but the old school, like very blocky, not on balls, basically.
And then we've got, it looks like a variant here of a sort of a black and white version.
So this is new, yeah. I didn't know that. Of course, Todd found a way to.
We got some. I think these
squeeze
to
a
be
little
fair,
bit more out of that.
This was like maybe 10 minutes before we started recording. They dropped the variants of these, which I like. I like it in black and white, and also again for customizers, it's a nice base coat to start with. Yep. And then we will get to. I believe that leads us to Sergeant Rock.
Sergeant Rock.
There he is. A character I don't know much about, I'll be honest.
Yeah, I don't know him. Obviously, I didn't pre-order him, but he is cool. It's kind of interesting to see, like, if Todd did the G.I. Joe Classified series line, may turn out looking something like this. But it is cool. It's not something that I'm gonna go after, but this is what I love about what Todd's done with this line. Yes, there's a lot of Batman that have come out, but every now and then you get these just off the wall characters that you don't even know of. And
I
they do a
am
good
liking
job.
this variant here.
That
as
is
well.
cool, yeah.
That's a smart variant if you're gonna do one.
Yeah. See, now seeing that, now it's like, all right,
Now,
you have my attention here.
you can sell it to DC or Toy Story fans.
Exactly. Get a really gritty Toy Story soldier in there.
And it should be said as well, like these were, I believe all these figures were on the previous leak list that we have covered here. So
Yeah.
we knew about it before it happened.
Come on.
Those pre-orders have gone live today as the day of recording, but if you're watching this, they went on pre-order yesterday or last week or a year ago. I don't know why you'd be watching this a year from now, but maybe you just discovered the channel and you're playing catch up. So thank you
want
for
to take
doing
it all
so.
in. Yeah.
So yeah, it does look like they did get some platinum/chases for the wave, and they're all up for pre-order now, and $30 each. So get them while they're hot. Looking good, but I'm trying to think. I think there's more McFarlane. Yes, because it is time for the McFarlane Summer Geek Out. Thanks to our friends over at Target. And are they friends or are they enemies at this point? I don't know. What's the deal with
the
Target
best of
exclusives
times,
anymore?
The worst of times.
Do
Target.
people? They're better than Walmart exclusives, I think, right?
I think so. Yeah, that Walmart site is trash.
Well, here we go. These have the direct links have all gone live today, and a couple of good ones here. So we got a 2-pack, a vehicle, and a couple of single figures. Metallo Fire, a 2-pack of Gordon, Rookie, and the bad guy Bloom, a 2-pack of Joker and Punchline, and the Batman the Animated Series re-release Batmobile. And these are looking cool. So Metallo, obviously in the vein of a first appearance, but like a modernized version of a first appearance Metallo. Yep. If I had my choice for Metallo, it wouldn't be this one. It would be more in line with Superman the Animated Series, basically
give it a
the
little
Terminator.
Bit yeah, right.
Although I do like, as far as just an interesting looking character, I do like the look of this Metallo. It's it's sort of like Iron Man, Christmas Iron Man, I would say.
Yeah, there you go. And he could go out for Christmas. That's a good call.
Yeah. Another character I'm not too familiar with is Fire. Translucent green here. Some cool fire and hair effects. What else is there to say?
Yeah, right. It is what it is. If I'm not familiar with it. I do like his take on translucent stuff. I think he's done a pretty good job having some of the Batman Beyond characters had some translucency in it. So it's cool. But yeah, nothing I need.
Could fit
nothing
in
I
with,
think I
some
need.
Green Lantern characters. Just even if I don't know who Fire is, I'm sure she's not a Green Lantern, but in my mind she could be.
I'm sure if I look her up, there's probably some cool backstory to be like, I want that figure now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This 2-pack here of, again, the sort of Rookie Batmech with Rookie Gordon in it, and Bloom, Mr. Bloom, which is a new villain. And I was watching a couple videos on this character earlier today. Yeah. And it just seems like really kind of cool and creepy. And I have always liked that Batmech design.
Yep. Yeah. I am tempted by this too, just to have just a different interpretation on like a Batman universe. Yeah. And total RoboCop going on here, right?
100%. It's the kind of I hate to sort of put this out there and say it, but it is the kind of 2-pack that I'm willing to play discount roulette with. Yeah. Like, I could be wrong, but I don't see it flying off the shelves. And if I saw it on discount at like half off, I'd probably snap it up just for the mech. And I feel like that Mr. Bloom could make a good base for a lot of customs as well.
Really good fodder. Even for an unmasked Michael Keaton, maybe from
the turtleneck. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, hey, for you Batman the Animated Series fans, and I think there might be a few of you out there.
Just a few, just a couple.
We have the re-release of the DC Direct Batman the Animated Series Batmobile coming in at $80. I was going to say £80 there, but $80. Light-up function, I mean, it seems like a fairly true to the original re-release, and $80, it's mighty tempting.
This was in my cart earlier this morning. I came so close, Frank, and if not for pre-ordering the Mezco 5 points Batmobile with the Batman characters, oh man, and I'm still thinking about it because I'm just like, this 89 Batman and Batman Forever are like the big three when it comes to the Batmobiles, and actually 66, which I do have that release as well. Yeah, man, have FOMO already just thinking about this. If it may be sold out.
I'm wondering if.
So nice.
I mean, I know the New Adventures was the New Adventures Batmobile. I can't remember. Was that much different?
I don't
It
remember.
feels like I'm gonna need to Google this. So
then again, it's gonna be like, yeah, completely different. Have a big drill on the front.
it probably would. I mean, okay, so it is different.
Yeah.
So it's slightly different. So it's a bit more sleek, but I think I could put those New Adventure guys into that Batmobile and not care, if you know what I mean.
Because it's an extension of that universe, anyways.
Yeah,
so, you know,
and
Batman's just taking the old ride today.
Exactly, that's it. He's got all his old costumes in the Batcave. He's got the old Batmobile. You know,
he's not
when
selling
the new
car.
Batmobile. No.
It's a dead giveaway. Bruce Wayne wants to sell me this used Batmobile.
Where's this Batmobile coming from? It's not like he won it from a Taco Bell contest or something.
No,
you can't just sell
not like
it.
Anybody did.
Until I thought I did. my big claim to fame.
You won like those cinnamon twists that they have.
That just made your mouth so dry. It was like licking sand in the Sahara.
Yeah.
And then there was another 2-pack, which is already sold out on Target.
Yeah.
The Joker and Punchline, which I think are the same releases as the singles, but it comes with an autographed card, or is there anything different that you know of?
Not that I know of. I thought that this was just the same release, but maybe. Oh, there you go. So it does come with an autograph card.
Yeah,
but
I
as
believe
far
it
as I knew,
comes with the artist who maybe illustrated Punchline again. We do some homework. We don't do all the homework here.
This has always been a 2-pack, though, as far as I know.
So Punchline hasn't seen a single release yet.
Right. This is her first appearance, so I think that's what a lot of people are in on it for.
Joker and Punchline are sold out. It looks like the Rookie and Mr. Bloom is still up for pre-order on Target. The Batmobile is still up for pre-order on Target. The Fire figure is sold out, and the Metallo is still available. So that's odd. I would not have guessed it would have been the Fire figure and the Joker and Punchline to sell out, but maybe I just don't have my finger on the pulse of the DC fans out there.
The Todd McFarlane collectors are as unpredictable as Todd himself, so you just never know.
Never know. Something else we never really know about is what Super 7 are doing at any given day. But they did put up a couple new pre-orders for some Ultimates figures, and again, it's a line that we don't collect, but we do have figures from, and that is the Thundercats. I was graciously gifted a Mumra figure, and while he's not been able to escape his cardboard prison just yet because of all this, he will soon be a centerpiece of a villain display once I'm up in the new toy room. Nice. But yeah, we're on, I can't believe it, wave 11 of Thundercats. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure Thundercats Ultimates started after TMNT Ultimates, and yet, if weird, not, right? They were very close.
He kind of picked up where Mattel left off, and then some of those early ones were in that Mattel scale, and then, yeah, I think it's right around that same time, 2019 or something like that.
I'm sure they're basically at the same amount of waves. Like, I mean, we'll check on the Super 7 website in a second here, but it just seems like Thundercats has just lapped Turtles. And it's not, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying it's interesting because with how popular Turtles is, I just would have thought otherwise. But here we go. Wave 11 is up for pre-order now, with pre-orders closing July 14th. And we have got Claudus, Luna and Amok, Royal Thunderian Guard, and I do like this guy, Robert Bill.
Yeah.
Again, not people. I think we've admitted this before. We weren't Thundercats fans growing up, right? We
just before our time.
Just before our time, sort of like He-Man, but like He-Man, where we've sort of dabbled as well.
Yeah.
We see a good figure, we know what we want, we go for it, and like you said, Mumras, we've got Lion-O's in our collections and stuff like that. It fits into that 80s vibe, that nostalgia. Even if we didn't sit there and watch every episode of it, we know,
There are just some characters that scream that 80s, that also like fever dream of the 80s, like the Luna and Amok, to me, are something I could have. Like, if you showed me a picture of them, I would not ever guess in a million years where they came from, but I could tell you, like, that's got to be an 80s cartoon, right? It's got that look, that feel, that vibe. And honestly, with this line, that's kind of what I picked and choose characters off of that I bought. Like, what gives me that, like, cool feeling? And, the ones that do, I normally get, like that Mumra, like Lion-O, like maybe this guy here, these two. It's just a cool look.
They're wild, right? It's seeing characters like this, like, right, you even without watching the shows, we knew who the main Thundercats were. We knew who Mumra was.
Exactly.
We'd seen those images like over and over again, whether it was through toys or old 80s stuff on YouTube. We'd seen them. But like the further and further this line has gotten in with some of these characters, I'm like, how did I not watch this?
Right, exactly. And that's the problem with having cable television back in the day.
Yeah.
You couldn't choose. But yeah, these, I mean, I know they're renders. Super 7's like the king of renders, but normally their sculpts manifest to what the renders are. I mean, just a cool looking line, and hey, I may be in for one of these packs myself.
They definitely are interesting. They're definitely cool. A lot of these Super 7 Ultimates are probably one of the main lines that spend time in my shopping cart without pulling the trigger. Yeah. I
can see that.
Outside of Turtles, it's like if there's a character I like and I like they're there, I will get them. But Silverhawks, Thundercats, G.I. Joe, Ren and Stimpy, like so many of the Ultimates are so cool looking, and I know there was obviously QC issues with some lines, and I think most of that stuff's been ironed out now. There were like factory changes during COVID. It was like up and down. It seems like a lot of the stuff has been ironed out. But it's just, I've come so close to pulling the trigger on so many. And again, sometimes it's like you play discount roulette. Sometimes, we've been like desensitized because of so much clearance that now that, as we've been told by multiple companies, but definitely from Super 7, these things aren't going to be made in such abundance anymore. So getting these things on clearance probably isn't going to be as possible as it once was, but I don't know where I was going with that. A bit on a tangent. It's more like, do I want to spend $55 on a figure I've got no actual connection to? Right. Or in the case of that Amok, Luna and Amok, which I believe is... I want to say 85?
Probably 85, yeah. And I was
85 for that, yeah.
I was interested in getting the Snarfer from this line as well, because I love those dumb little side characters. But again, it's that thing. It's like $55. Don't have the biggest connection to this character. And so yeah, like you, they'll idle in place, and then if the right day comes along or not much is going on, then I'll pull the trigger. But I mean, generally speaking, I really do like their figures. And another thing too with Super 7, they got so big so fast, it was almost overwhelming. Like, here's a new line, here's a new line, here's a new line, here's a new line. It was like, whoa. I'm just trying to keep up with the turtles right now.
Yeah.
So,
and I think we're due some new turtle reveals any day now as well. Probably by the time we film the next one, we might have the next wave of Turtle Ultimates revealed.
Wait, you got 5 minutes? Probably 5 minutes from now.
As
soon as we end this podcast, here they are.
Yeah.
Wave 12? I don't know what wave.
Well, let's go to. There's one more Super 7 that I wanted to touch upon, and that is yet another repaint of a good figure. But this one, I like this one. This one makes sense, and that is the movie version of Toxie from the Toxic Avenger. Yeah. Jeff, I don't know. Do you have one of the Toxies?
I don't, and it's one I want to get from them. It's one I've liked, and I've shopped. I know they re-released the cartoon version of him recently, and that's one that constantly is in and out of the cart. But I don't have a
That whole first wave for me is always
I know.
in the cart, and I here's my
and
dilemma.
Always on sale too.
Yeah, my dilemma is always, I can get this first wave, and Brian is always talking about in interviews that they want to do more characters, and I sort of like hold out hope, like, oh, well, will we get some of those more outlandish characters, or it's like, do I save that money and just go all in and buy all the vintage ones?
Right, I know, and Will, who is this that made mine? He's sitting right here on my wall. Wow,
Trick or Treat Studios.
Trick or Treat Studios, yeah. Are they going to go deeper, which would be cool?
Yeah, because they're doing.
I love this line.
They're doing the Dr. Kill 'Em Off, right?
That's right. Yeah.
He's coming out soon. I've come close to picking him up. I think
for $20
I probably
I
will do, because it's just it's the original figure, but for $20.
And he comes with a real slime too. So
comes with the real slime.
Cool about him.
And from what the Trick or Treat Studios guys have said, they have said they are probably going to do some of the figures that were only prototyped in the original line as well, apart from figures that have been released. So, Trick or Treat Studios is one that I have had my eye on for some figures as well, because they're doing like Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Again, not the most articulation, and the price points are a bit high, but it's the best we've got for now.
Right.
And yeah, those re-releases of the Toxic Crusaders figures, that to me is, I don't know, it's one of those moments you don't expect from toy collecting, because I expect Playmates to redo Ninja Turtles figures because they own the license, all this sort of stuff. I don't expect a company that mainly focuses on making Halloween masks and costumes to get the rights to then redo an original, like a Playmates toy line, better than what Playmates does with the TMNT toy line. Yeah. And at an affordable price point.
Yeah, $20. I mean, and that's the thing. Like, you're not gonna even find maybe a loose Toxie on eBay for that much now. Not with all of his accessories and a pristine paint job. That's for sure.
Ugh. Well, anyway, so quickly back to movie Toxie here. He's up for pre-order. Pre-order is finishing July 14th. Again, it's a repaint of that original Toxie mold. So I think I've got the first one they came out with.
Yeah.
I do want to, on the fence about the cartoon stuff. I'd like to. This one, it does the trick. It's not true to the Toxie that's in that film. I think for something like that, you'd probably more go for a NECA, but as far as reusing a mold and it making sense, this does the trick, and fans of the movie, I think, would be interested in this. There's supposed to be a new Toxic Avenger movie that has been screened and people are loving. Apparently, it's got Peter Dinklage and Kevin Bacon, but it's screened at some shows. People loved it, and then there's no word on when it's coming out. So
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I'm
Which
looking
I
forward to
forgot about
seeing
that.
Yeah.
I remember reading about that like months ago, and
there were some still
and out.
I think Elijah Wood's in it. Like there were some
Yes.
still images that was released. People were like, yeah, it's ultra, it's gory, it's fun, but it's poignant. I'm like, all right, yeah.
Where is it?
Where
Yeah.
is it? But yeah, it looks good. Again, because I own
Yep.
that original, probably not gonna be picking him up.
Mhm.
But for those that want it, he's there.
He's there.
That's a lot of Toxie talk.
Yeah.
Now let's go to someone else. Not someone, something, a studio. Have you heard of? Now this was an interesting one. Is it Peria Studio?
Okay.
Now Peria Studio, I read about this a while ago, and again, we do the Cliff Notes version here on Cardback
Right.
Cafe. I'm not gonna go study for 3
Pink
weeks.
Monkey.
Yeah.
Wasn't it Pink Monkey?
Was it Pink Monkey?
Pink Monkey, where we used to the website that would give the Cliff Notes, right? There was cliffnotes.com, but then there was
yes.
Pink Monkey.
That has just opened up like a Pandora's box of memory of
Yeah.
like kids today. They'd never
Cheating on book reports. Now kids have AI.
kids
right?
today wouldn't get it, but 80s kids like us would understand. But Peria Studio is a studio out of China who I believe at a certain point in their history had the rights to potentially make recreations of Mighty Max. And at a certain point, they lost those rights. So I think they had the official rights, and their plan was to recreate old Mighty Maxes, which sounds amazing because Mighty Maxes were amazing.
Yeah.
And on the secondary market, to find them complete now, it's ridiculous. They're super expensive.
Yeah.
But once they lost the rights to recreate them, and again, correct us in the comments if we're wrong, and we probably are, but once they lost those rights, they decided, we're just going to do our own thing in this same exact style. And, I mean, this stuff is looking great. Let's go over to their Instagram page. This is... I mean, let's give this a translate because I'm sorry, I don't speak Chinese. One day. But they're gonna start a fundraising soon, and I don't know, I know there's people out there are probably a bit weary of trusting a Chinese third-party fundraising website for these, but I'm all in. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm giving this a chance because look at this. I mean, what's this bad boy called? We've got the Sewer Devil and the Deer Devil. And this here, if the production looks anything like these renders, this looks great. And some of these are actually up on Big Bad now. Not the bigger ones. They are the smaller sets they've done. So there's like a little reindeer set here you can see.
Yeah.
Like the really small ones. Comes with a couple, opens up, comes with a couple of little characters. Looks great. We've got some prototype images here that they've done, so you can see in physical form it's there and it's gonna work. Some of them are up on Big Bad, I believe, but I just like when I stumbled upon this not too long ago, I couldn't contain my excitement, really.
Yeah, look at that card back too.
So this is, I think these are one of the ones that are on Big Bad. These are the super small ones. Like, he's the size of a Mighty Max figure, so you're looking at something like really small.
Pocket size, yeah.
Very pocket size, but they are now going to be bigger. So this was the link. Sorry, this is all a bit of a tangent and gone off into a million different ways.
And that was the Mighty Max line too, right? Because for Christmas you would get the big one, the big magma guy figure, but then your aunts and uncles would get you those little ones, the little fodder. But they would do the trick, you bring them in the car and.
Yep. So this, so apparently the fundraising will be online. I'm gonna say today. So this says Saturday. That's when this should come out. So it does say today, and these are gonna be your prices. So you've got the deer. You've got the Sewer Devil, you've got some alternate color schemes, you've got some mystery boxes. And again, these prices are obviously not in US dollars, but I think the prices are actually quite reasonable. So on Big Bad, let me have a look. Yeah, here we go, yeah. So, yeah, 25, 20. Yeah, so those are for the small
range.
ones. So I would imagine those bigger ones, they are probably going to be, slightly, probably 50, 60, right? And it's not cheap, but where are you getting Mighty Maxes in 2024?
I do like how their character wears that old Nintendo Master coat from like the cartoons called Nintendo Letterman jacket. That's cool.
And obviously they're going a bit more. I mean, like Mighty Maxes did have a horror vibe to them, but I think they're going a bit darker than Mighty Max because once they didn't have that license anymore. Mighty Hat.
It's almost like it was probably a relief because now you don't have to pay that licensing fee, and they're like, oh, we have a little bit more freedom with it as well. Yeah. Why not?
And it's just, I just think these guys are looking so cool.
Yeah. And I've always loved the concept of having a big figure that also opens up into a play set. It was just a cool concept that like didn't get revisited outside of just what it was.
It was our Polly Pocket. I mean, like it's one of those as well, vintage toy lines Mighty Max, that it's one of the ones that I look at on eBay a lot, or if I'm in a retro toy store, it's like, is there a Mighty Max there? Because I used to have a handful of them, and I don't anymore, and I want to sort of scratch that itch of having them again.
Yeah, just get a couple there in the display, and they're small enough to do that.
And they look good, either closed or opened.
Yeah.
Okay, we are... There's a lot of news. There's only a few more quick ones here. So another one we just need to retouch because it's becoming a theme for the show, and that is the Spin Masters PlayStation line. And basically, not much more news here, but some more official sort of product images, this time of the Kratos figure. And again, it's just in awe of sort of what we're seeing here. Like, just think, it looks great. I know some people are saying, like, the gold plastic seems a bit dull. You could easily fix that yourself, but also I don't think it needs it. Like, if we're looking at it's a $30 figure, I just think this is one of the top values you're getting in action figures. Between this and Jaded Toys, like, this Kratos looks great. I mean, look at all this detail.
The paint, the layering of the different materials that he's wearing, and the accessories. This is in that range, which you're right. This will probably be that $30 to $35 price point.
$29.99 for these.
There you go.
The basic ones.
Yeah,
the non-deluxe.
I think it's checking all the boxes then for my money.
Just want to see images of the rest of them now. and actually get some solid release dates, because we're seeing images, we know prices. I still have no idea when these are coming out. Are they coming out next week or next year? Like, I need to know. Now, I want to go to a company we've not talked about yet, although I think the guy who runs it is somebody who's been in the adult collectible business for ages. So, do you know much about Syndicate Collectibles, Jeff?
Not much more than the name.
So Syndicate is a company. It's a relatively new company, and it was started by, I'm going to butcher the name here, Jerry Macaluso. Now, he's the guy who originally started Soda Toys back in the day.
Okay.
Worked in makeup effects in Hollywood, did a lot of stuff there, but started Soda Toys, who obviously had a really good Street Fighter line of theirs. They did the Now Playing series, which was a lot like Movie Maniacs back in the day. Had a lot of good figs and big ambitions, but that company went away, and then Jerry started another company which was called Pop Culture Shock Collectibles. They did mostly statues and things like that. Again, still covering movies, TVs, horror, that sort of thing. He sold Pop Culture Shock Collectibles, and then he started Syndicate Collectibles, and people were like, okay, what? Third company, what's going on now? He's back into action figures, and they announced a while ago some of the, I think it was Comic-Con last year, they showed off a lot of their licenses and announced a lot of their licenses. So they're doing stuff like Ghoulies. They're going to do Ghoulies action figures. They're going to do the Howling action figures. Like, if we take a look here, he posted images, Syndicate Collectibles, here's prototype images of the Howling action. And like, yeah, I'm loving what I'm seeing already. Great articulation, looks like the Howling. They're doing, you know, outside of figures, stuff like prop replicas, like Killer Clowns from Outer Space, the popcorn gun. They're doing everything. Statues. But very recently they showed off what is close to what they're, I guess, will be on the market is a Pumpkinhead action figure. So 1/12 Pumpkinhead. And I think this is a big, like, planting your flag, saying, yes, we're here, look at this. Because this, you know, again, depending on price, depending on availability, this is right there with NECA, with Superset, like, with all those companies in, you know, niche characters, quality, just the presentation. It's obviously coming from a man and a team that are familiar with this industry. And I've always loved Pumpkinhead as like as a character. Like, I've seen bits of the film. I've never actually watched the film. But as a design, it's always just been like this really cool design. And this, seeing this, I'm excited to where this company can go.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully, this will help them really get that momentum, find their footing, and just build from here. Because as you said, it's probably a small team, so, you know, I'm sure they have a million ideas, but not a million ways that they can execute those ideas. So hopefully, hopefully our little show can bring some exposure to it and help it gain a little traction, because it would be cool to see another company kind of carve out a little niche, especially when doing these kind of deep cut characters that we haven't actually seen yet from the companies we already know and love.
Yeah. And they've shown, like, Pumpkinhead, they're doing statues, they're doing the 1/12 figure, which we just saw. They're also doing a 1/6 figure, so here we go, some, like, pics of the prototype next to, like, a Hot Toys Groot. So, obviously, the man loves Pumpkinhead, which is great. But I thought you might like this. They posted a tease a while ago. I mean, you might. I like it. We're definitely both gonna like it. So this is from a teaser from back in April. Where could this go?
We've
done this dance before.
Since day one, we've been just talking about who's gonna pick up this line, who's gonna do it. Are we gonna get a reaction? Are we gonna get ultimates of it? Who the hell is gonna do it? Yeah, seeing this. Oh man. Let's go. They've not said, maybe Comic-Cons where we finally get the info. They've not actually said if it's what it is. It's just, here's a tease. So it started as a silhouette, and then they revealed the tease. It just says more updates to come. Big news is just around the corner. I don't know. I hope figure. Judging we're actually gonna do Lady Bird Johnson and make presidents now.
If it was any other company, I'd be like, yes, great figures. But with these guys, it's just like, oh god, we do prop replicas, statues, lunch boxes, puppets. I don't want to get my hopes too high, but seeing a Ladybird, come on, Comic-Con, we're waiting for you.
Yeah, I'm in for any merch, especially any figure that they want to make. And as far as I know, that Hulu reboot is still in the works, so
still happening. Could
be a good opportunity to tie it in with the release of that, so it would make perfect sense in my little head.
Although I would say, if that's the tie-in, I still hope we do get the classic versions of the characters.
Right, not the updated older versions. Not do what NECA did with the monsters. Sorry, NECA, I love you, but come on, give me the Fred Gwynn. Give me a Fred Gwynn monster.
You've got the rights. We know it. Come on.
Yeah, you got it.
All right, almost here. 2 more left to go, and this one is some new Hot Toys reveals, and it is Deadpool and Wolverine. And the big thing here is, we knew this was coming. I think the big thing here is just it's our first good look at Wolverine in the mask from the movie.
Yeah.
And it's from the Hot Toys figure, and it looks amazing.
Yeah, I'm so looking forward to this movie this summer. Finally get to see what we wanted the X-Men to look like on the big screen in the cinematic universe, and now this will be, you know, we've seen a little bit through Deadpool. Deadpool's done a great job of keeping the characters classic to the comics we know and love. They're not wearing like NASCAR suits, which I love. But yeah, I mean, come on, what can you say? It's Hot Toys, so of course it's just everything's gonna be there, lining up.
Yeah, I mean, it's that thing with me. I'll say, you know, every time I say like, "Oh, I don't have a Hot Toys yet. Could this be the one?"
Yeah.
A Hugh Jackman Wolverine.
And you get the glorious Hugh head sculpt too, you know.
Oh, the Hugh, the vascular arms, the vasculinity. So it's coming in 2 flavors as well. You've got the standard edition, which comes with this loadout here, only the masked heads with the interchangeable face plates, a couple of alternate hands. But then the deluxe version, you've got so many more options here. You've got the Hugh face, which that's Hugh Jackman. This is a picture of Hugh Jackman. This isn't a toy, right?
Right. Yeah. Exactly. That's just, man. That's Hot Toys for you, doing what they do at their very best right here.
And like the multiple, so you've got the full sleeved version. You've got the sleeveless with the shoulder pads. You've got the sleeveless without the shoulder pads. Obviously, we're gonna have to wait to see the movie to see what the whole story is. But I remember when pictures from the set started leaking and it was just him in full sleeves, everyone was like, why is he in full sleeves? Where's his arms? Why is he got his arms? It's like, no, come on, he's gonna rip them off at some point. Come on, we know. Just give it time. Watch
Trust
the movie.
The process. Yeah, we're gonna do it.
Battle damaged chest here with bullet holes and scrapes. Yeah, so here we go. The deluxe. Deluxe. Interchangeable sleeved arms, all the stuff. It's very tempting. If it wasn't that Hot Toys price point, and maybe, you know, after I see the movie, who knows? Maybe this will be.
You go a little crazy. Yeah, hits you at the right time.
Come out of it with like a Deadpool high. But going off the back of that, let's get to the last bit of news, and it's just a bit of news that isn't actually news, but it's to announce what will potentially become news next week, because on Monday there is going to be a Marvel Legends Hasbro Pulse fan stream, and I think everybody out there, everybody was predicting Deadpool and Wolverine until a teaser image came out, and now everybody's predicting something else, I believe it is. People are saying Lady Death, or maybe it's Mephisto, right?
Yes, Mephisto was the one I was seeing. Yeah.
But
Skulls.
I'm shocked that there's no Deadpool and Wolverine yet.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, right? There's gotta be. It's gotta be coming. I'm sure they're gonna announce it at some point.
So yeah, that live stream is going to be Monday, like we said. It's not really news right now, so it's all speculation.
My thing is, all the news that's coming out too, like preemptively for Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con. Why don't we just make Comic-Con a month already? Just make it the full month, because that's what it is. I mean, that's what it is. It's your WrestleMania of cons. Let's have fun.
There's enough out there to spread it out for a month, isn't there? I mean, like the whole build-up. So that stream is going to be 11 a.m. Eastern time Monday morning. So we will talk about all of the details next week if I can get through a bit of
no chest pains.
This is what people love. And now, Jeff, that was going to be the end of the news, but as always, news is coming up even as we're doing the show. So 2 quick updates here. A new tease, and again, thank you, Preternia. You're doing the Lord's work here.
Really?
A new tease from Mondo. Uh-oh. 1/6 scale, baby. If you are a fan and a collector of the 1/6 scale X-Men line from Mondo, you're in for a treat from the looks of it. But we just mentioned Super 7. We just mentioned TMNT. it's a tease for pre-orders next week from the 2003 Ultimates series.
Ooh. The apparently more articulated ones too, right?
More articulated.
Oh boy, could this be bringing us into the future?
This is all new info. This is like we're just seeing this now.
Listen,
we've said about the 2003 series before, like it is what it is, but I do like these renders.
I do. I like the big eyes. Yeah. Wait till we see how this develops.
Next week we're gonna have a lot to talk about, folks. But yeah, definitely some stuff to be excited here.
And we have to make this successful so we can get to 2012. So, I'll do the Lord's work, and I guess I'll buy these turtles, just to get to 12.
Whoever is gonna do 12, just like there's so much turtles. Every company's doing turtle stuff. Somebody has to do 12. Someone apart from 4 Revoltech figures.
Right. That can't be the only day in the sun we had.
Literally the best
highly
series.
Articulated. Man. Yes.
With the best, like some of the best designs. I won't say all the best designs, but they're some of the best designs for characters and stuff.
And definitely the best story arcs too. Is just
yes.
But that's given.
But I digress. We digress
already.
So we will talk about some of that stuff next week. Obviously, it's going to be another big news week, but let's quickly, that's the news. I was going to say let's quickly wrap it up, but we're not going to wrap it up just yet because it's time for our purchases, pre-orders, and pickups from the week. That is right. It's time for the 3 Ps.
3 Ps.
And we're going to do it slightly different this week. So we were limiting it to just one thing. And that's for the most part what we're going to do. We're going to focus on one thing, but we can also quickly just talk about some of the stuff as well. So we're going to give you a quick rundown of some of our Ps before each focusing on our main one for the week. So, Jeff, take us away, if you will.
Sure, certainly. So, as I mentioned throughout earlier on in the show, some of my pre-orders this week, as of today, were the McFarlane Connor Kent Collector's Edition Superboy, I guess, and then the Bat manga. So that's in the bag, pre-ordered. Staying on McFarlane, winning on that Forever Wave because I'm not insane. I had to get it. Lucky to have, I got it at Big Bad before it sold out. So I don't know if it's still available anywhere at the moment, but I'm sure it'll come back up for anyone who's missed out. And the last pre-order P is that, of course, Cobra Commander with the back metal visor.
Yes.
Vintage card, retro card, whatever you want to call it. And I was almost ready to throw hands because I got the email from Hasbro Paul saying, "Hey, it's live." Went right over, sold out, and I'm like, "Son of a bitch." Oh, sold out in seconds. So I'm like, oh, here we go again, right? Like, of course, I shouldn't have got my hopes up. Luckily, it's come back up on Amazon. I'm now seeing it on Big Bad. So whatever they're doing, it's great. So many opportunities out there now to go pre-order it. I got mine off of Big Bad. So I'm very, very, very happy to have picked that up for $24. And then the last thing, I think Street Sharks First Wave should be shipping over the next couple of weeks. So I'm happy to see that because I pre-ordered that wave. So hopefully that's a potential pickup. But those are my pre-orders, Frank. And then I guess the pickup this week that I want to feature, which was tough. It was stuck between two, but I had to go with this one because I feel like we're going to talk about other G.I. Joe classifieds. We're going to talk about other McFarlanes, but every now and then you get a Mafex toy, and they're the holographics in the deck, right?
Yeah,
it's very rare, but when they come, they shine. We talked about this character a couple weeks ago, but I'm sticking with a black and purple themed character from the Batman line, Bat family, I guess, but. Picked up a nice little Mafex Huntress here from the Hush comic. which for me, for my money, this is my, version of Huntress that I would want.
Yeah.
In a cool dynamic pose. Really, I have
Cape looks great.
Yes, they've definitely stepped up their game with the cape from where we saw that first Batman who's wearing like bed sheets, which still love the Hush Batman. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, they've really dialed it in with these capes, with the look, with just, she comes with 2 head sculpts, obviously, tons of accessories. And here's something you don't get with a lot of companies. Detailing on the bottom of the boots. Like, come on. You get the tread.
They have the treads.
Not too blurry for you. Could you have come with the crossbow? Yes, but luckily G.I. Joe Classified Series line has a crossbow in it that I'm not currently using, so I could use it for her if I feel so inclined. But I actually like the staff here, and just the coloring.
You've got her in a great pose as well. Like, that is amazing.
This was like a week in the making too. Like just playing around with it on the desk. I'm in no hurry to take her off the desk because it's Mafex. Like, to me, this is the best articulation you're going to get in this scale. Like, fight me on that. But yeah. I think it's so smooth. It really all flows together and looks really good. So I'm excited to get her into the app. I have like my elite Batman, 6-inch scale figures, which consists of the Hush, that long Halloween line, and I'm hoping that Mafex or even McFarlane could scratch that itch with a long Halloween line down the road. But yeah, very happy to have this Huntress in the collection. And the first, I think, female figure sculpt too from Mafex. So very, very excited and happy to have her here. Yeah.
Oh.
And
that's it's a tough act to beat. I regret not going in on the Hush stuff earlier, because now the Hush Batman are so pricey. Yeah. And like, I remember, again, one of those figs that sat in my cart for ages, and first it was the blue and gray, then the black and gray. I've had Hush in the cart, and then now, missed the boat on those. I am tempted to do the Nightfall Batman that I see Mafex do, because that new Bane, which is now there's starting to be some in-hand images of that Bane going around. Yeah. It looks so good. It looks so good. And to be fair, even the McFarlane one does, but if you put a picture up of that McFarlane 2-pack, and then
it's true.
The Mafex ones, it's like, sorry, it's night and day. And I know one's like 4 times the cost, but you get what you pay for. The thing is,
for me, like, there's going to be a time where the McFarlane stuff comes off the shelf. This kind of stuff is going to sit on the shelf.
It's hard to see that being topped anytime in the near future.
Exactly. So,
like, Todd could release a better Nightfall Bane and Batman next year because he's holding back, right?
Right, exactly. And we've seen even his line evolve, with the soft goods and the articulation. So, yeah.
Oh, well, all right, let's just a quick one. So, I mean, I'm gonna mirror you here, because pre-orders wise, that Cobra Commander, he got. And it was funny because one of the sites I use out here in the UK, I went to it that day, not having any real concept of what time it was. Yeah. And when I went on, one of the retro figures was up for pre-order, but the other 2 weren't. So the Cobra Trooper and the Cobra Commander weren't up for pre-order yet, but the other one was. And so I hit refresh a couple of times and then saw the Cobra Trooper pop up. I'm like, oh, they must be updating the site now. So then I was just there constantly pressing refresh for about 5 minutes, waiting for Cobra Commander to pop up. And I was like, oh God, what if there's less of him? What if they've already sold it? Finally popped up. And then I must have been one. I imagine I was one of the first 10 or 15 people to order it from this website, because it just popped up. So got him pre-ordered. I pre-ordered the Batman Forever wave as well. Got that again, through that same website. Shout out to propsandreplicas.co.uk. They're sort of become my new go-to. And then today was a box day. A lot of boxes came in today. If I just reach around for a couple of things, I could find them. So one thing that came in today, which it's mirroring something that happened last week. It must be a Friday thing here, because you see the bison there.
Oh boy.
He came in. Dalsim came in. Obviously, I've not had a chance to open him. He's.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting him out of the box.
This is the one, like, this just shows, like, the range that Jada is willing to put into these toys, the depth. Like, I'm really interested and really, like, looking forward to playing around with this guy.
Yeah, I mean, it does, like, again, just, I can't wait. I can't wait to get, like, I chances are, well, I didn't want to do the same thing again 2 weeks in a row and say he was it, but also I haven't had a chance to open him, so I am looking forward to opening him, getting a play, hopefully post some pictures over on our Instagram. But I think the thing that came in today came from Japan. Looking forward to it. Less a figure, although he'll end up a figure, is going to be my Kamen Rider Black, as I dip under, my Figurized Standard kit.
Nice.
I'm looking forward to hopefully putting him together next week. Probably not this weekend, but next week, and then he is just going to be fitting on one of the shelves. So obviously we've sort of talked about Kamen Rider Black and Black RX. It was the version of Kamen Rider that came over to the US as Masked Rider that was on Fox. So this isn't Masked Rider, this is a different version, but I just loving Kamen Rider. Just looks like it's going to be a fun build. Lots of good pieces.
The Figurized kits too are awesome. Like, you actually get a really well-made, well-articulated, solid figure after the build.
Yeah, and like pretty much still in scale with like, I think he's gonna be a bit bigger than like Figure Arts, but
a little,
still, amongst the crowd of Kamen Riders, of which it's getting more and more, I don't think it'll stand out too much.
Right, it's not gonna be like a Super 7 one in there. Like
he's not gonna tower over. I mean, I got a couple of other, just there's bits and bobs all over the room right now. Some of the stuff, let's see if I can get this finger going right. Another model kit there, another model. Actually, I think these are all model kits that came from Japan over the past day or two. So I'm looking forward to getting some of those together. Probably, well, I'll keep a couple of them sealed until I get upstairs, but the Kamen Rider I do need to put together. I'm looking forward to, nothing beats putting one of these model kits together. Like, if you've never out there, if you're watching this and you like action figures, these model kits that Bandai put together, whether it's Gundam or Dragon Ball, Digimon, Kamen Rider, Ultraman, it's basically like, it's Lego. It's another form of Lego. You get to sit there, follow instructions, build, and then you end up with an action figure at the end of it. And it's so fun and actually quite rewarding to do.
Yeah, you get more playtime for your buck, and I just love to, like, if it's Dragon Ball, I like to maybe put on Dragon Ball in the background as I'm building it, just like really get into the spirit of it. So, yeah, I agree. If anybody hasn't, find something you like and see if there's a model kit for it. And
chances are there are as well. Yeah. I think there's, there's even Bandai. I'm pretty sure they do Marvel model kits. I think they do DC. They do.
Mandalorian, Star Wars,
Star Wars, Yeah, as opposed to, a Figure Arts, which is $70, $80, $90, these model kits are sort of 20, 30, maybe 40 on some of the higher end ones, but, you're talking about half the price or a third of the price, and then, you get a really nice figure at the end of it, all things considered. So
you'll have to document some of that as you're doing it for the Instagram.
I'll definitely, I'll take some pictures and maybe some video and definitely once it's done, because it does, like, I've watched some reviews on it and everything, and it looks like a really good piece, and again, something I've started to do recently, and again, hopefully something I'll show off more on the channel once I'm moved up into the new space, is just trying to customize these kits a bit more, throw a bit of paint, throw a bit of weathering on them, and I just think it really helps. If you didn't do anything to these kits, you're going to have a great time. They're going to look great on the shelf. But even just throwing a bit of paint or a top coat on them, it really helps them pop that much more. So I will share the process along the way.
Nice.
But Jeff, we are nearly at the end of the show. We have been rambling for a while, but before we go, I want to bring in a little new segment here that we're calling Outside the Box. Obviously, toys come in boxes, and now we're thinking outside of the world of toys. Just to give everybody a brief, I guess, suggestion or something that you're looking forward to outside of this hobby. So, what you been watching, playing, looking forward to? Anything coming up?
Well, I mean, one thing been watching, it's come back. The boys are back.
Oh,
so checked out episode 1 so far of season 4. Really enjoying that. Anybody who loves comics, toys, anything that ties into any property that you already love and you haven't seen the boys, do yourself a favor, find the boys, watch the boys. You won't be disappointed. Something I'm looking forward to, though, video game wise, I would consider myself a gamer in this modern era. You know, I've got PC, PlayStation, Xbox, so it sounds worse than what it really is. I don't play that much video games, but I'm very interested and very excited for the Star Wars Outlaws game that's coming out here at the end of summer. I know they've recently showed some gameplay to, of course, you know, ridicule and whatever else, but until it's out, I don't make any final judgment. But I do like the idea of an open world Star Wars game, which we haven't seen to this extent, at least what this is trying to sell us right now. So I'm excited about this. I've been jonesing for a new game to play. I've been playing Cyberpunk for like 4 years now, and it's really time that I move off of that and try something else. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that.
Yeah, I mean that one looks amazing. Just it's having a single player Star Wars game as well, one that's just not focused on microtransactions. And as much as I love Star Wars Battlefront, like 1 and 2, I've just been so keen on a single player experience that is just, I mean, from what people are saying, it's like Uncharted Star Wars. I'm like, right, there you go. You've sold me. Easy.
Exactly.
And as much as when I was a kid, I wanted a lightsaber in every game, I'm so happy to not. I want to be. I'm away from that world now. I want to be the smuggler.
Like being on the fringe.
Yeah, down and dirty. Yeah, looking forward to that.
Back to your, dare I say, back to your Dash Rendar roots of just, running and gunning.
The one figure that could get me back into Black Series. I mean, I'm looking forward to the boys. I haven't started it yet. It's on the watch list. Love the first 3 seasons. Looking forward to this. Now knowing that next season as well is the final season, and that they have that final end point in mind. Like, I'm looking forward to seeing where this goes. So looking forward to watching that. I have been dabbling in watching randomly. And again, it goes back to the Kamen Rider stuff and, going to Japan, like, really helped, like, open my eyes to some more stuff. But I went back and started watching some of the Japanese Super Sentai shows, like, that became, Super Sentai was what they used footage for to become Power Rangers. So I started watching one of the ones from the 80s called Live Man. And it's just fun. I just don't. It's silly. It's over the top. It's fun. I'm like 6 or 7 episodes in. At first, I just started watching it to just see. I think it was the first. So, Super Sentai has been going on for 30 or 40 years now. I think.
God.
I'm gonna be corrected by that, but yeah, it's been going from. God, no, it's probably 50 years. But yeah, this was the Live Man was the first one to feature animal themes for the Rangers, and so it
cool.
it starts with 3 Rangers. I think they do get 2 more later on, but it's just so fun. I just watched a 2-part episode that's just ridiculous. It's just some of the I can't explain it. You can. I don't know where it's available to stream or watch.
Yeah.
You know, if you surf the Sail the High Seas on the internet, you can find it with subtitles. And yeah, it's really fun. Definitely suggest watching that. Besides that, I've been playing Dave the Diver on my PlayStation. It was one of the free games on PS Plus. I had no idea what this game was about. I'd seen it in a couple of articles here and there. I wasn't even really going to download it or put it in my library, even though it was a free game on PlayStation Plus. And then I saw they had Godzilla DLC. So I was like,
like, what is this game?
Hang on, let me download this game. And I started playing it, and it is just the most relaxing, chilled out, fun, yet deep and interesting game with so much variety. You play like a deep sea diver, and you've got 3 sections of each day, afternoon, evening. And the first 2 sections of the day, you dive underwater, you catch fish. And the 3rd section of the day, you work at a sushi restaurant. It's got all these mini games. It's really fun. If you've not had a chance to play it, definitely give it a go. Yeah, and I've gotten to the Godzilla part of the DLC, and it is quite fun. And you actually get to play as Godzilla, so worth it for that alone. And the DLC was free, and the game was free, so it was free. And it's also a game that you can randomly put like 40 or 50 hours into. So,
oh wow, yeah,
a lot deeper than I thought. And the aesthetic's great. It's like that sort of 8-bit style, you know, pixelated look. So definitely a fun time. So there you go. That's us outside the box for another week here. But Jeff, we are on a tight schedule here because every
only
5
just getting
minutes.
started.
The people at home haven't seen it. Hopefully I've done some amazing editing because my camera keeps shutting off for some reason. There's been some issues, but it's been a great show. It's been a long show. It might be our longest yet, and I blame the toy industry for that because there's so much news every week that we just have to keep talking about. But you know what? Jeff, I love doing it, and I love doing it with you.
I would not want to do it with anybody else but you. This is the toy foxhole that we're stuck in. Very happy to be here.
Love it. All right, everybody. Well, thanks so much for joining us. Like we've said before, you know, like, follow, subscribe, leave comments. Let us know what you want to see on the show. Let us know what you like. Let us know what you don't like. And, of course, tell your friends. This is a great community, so help spread the word about the show. We want to keep doing them. I mean, we're going to keep doing it. We're going to keep talking toys anyway. It's just whether we hit record or not. So,
if nothing else, fall asleep to us.
Exactly.
Our stuff probably doesn't even have commercials yet, so you can pull it up on your phone and drift off to sleep.
Not like some of those other things. You get commercial every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And they're like 40 seconds now, the commercials.
It's too much.
Anyway, enjoy the rest of your weekend, everybody. We will be back here next week talking toys and everything else that we love chatting about right here on the Cardback Cafe Fresh Brew. So until then, we'll see you next time. So long.
You took my so long.
We could share the so long. We have joint custody of the so long.
Okay.
Bye.